Okay, we should be on. Hopefully this is going through. This is Pipeline Audio. This is dropping in at Pipeline Audio number 6. And this time I'm going to be comparing some real numbers of things that'll affect your reliability and stability. Real-time guitar amp modeling plugins. Like, you know, when you're tracking a band, the last thing you want is glitches and dropouts, or even worse, like not hearing them, and later on you're looking at your recorded files and there's weird artifacts in it. I know I have a lot of problems with some prosumer devices that don't really have sensible word clock setups, and they'll drop every once in a while. And have a band practicing in the next room right now, so it's gonna be a little bit. That might sound a little bit bad, but here we go. So the first thing I want to show is an issue a lot of plugins used to have, not so many anymore, but usually from the copy protection, just writing a lot of hash to the RPP or to the to your DAW's project file. And in this case, I'm just gonna make a file real quick. Let's see. So I'm just going to call this single channel test. And I'm going to open up a Windows Explorer. Sorry, it's going to take me a second here. Oh man, and this, if anybody knows how to turn off this junk where anytime there's audio files, it's got all this contributing artist, album, title, number crap. I don't need any of that stuff. I just want to see a Reaper project file. Okay, so this one I called single channel test. Want to view details. So size. There we go. Okay, so this has nothing on it. It's 3 kilobytes. Okay. I'm going to arm this, set it to 25, turn monitoring on, save this again, still 3 kilobytes. Actually, it went smaller now that it added some whatever. Okay, whatever. So I'm going to put bias effects in here. Note how long this takes to fire up. And I'm going to say a little bit more about this in a second. Don't let me forget. Sorry. Let me just make sure I have everything running here correctly. Okay. Okay, so you saw how long that took to pop up, right? I mean, that's not cool, but we'll deal with that in a second. I'm going to save it. And now let's look at. Actually, let me get to my. Here's one of the ones I usually use here. This is save. And well, that is bizarre. My RPP for this, oh, there we go. Single channel test. Okay. So you remember that was 3 kilobytes. Now it's 272K just from putting bias effects in. And so I want to show you something. Okay. So one of the coolest things about Reaper is these RPPs are human readable, the project file. So I'm going to go down to the VST. So here's bias effects. Here's the VST. You see all this hash? I mean, this is what this just added to the project. Just this one plugin, he added all this crap. Look at all that. and just tons and tons and tons of junk. And Stephen Slate's plugins used to do this, and they would cause all sorts of problems. And it was the copy protection, and I think Justin or Schwa told them how to deal with it, and they did. And now it's those Slate plugins run super fast, they're really efficient and stuff. I think the same thing needs to happen to Bias Effects. So I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to save it again. And let's see if this cleared out that hash. Okay, somehow I don't know why this is disappearing. This is kind of weird. Is there a refresh? How do you refresh Windows Explorer? This is really weird. Let me do this again. Hopefully this shows back up. Per project file. Yep, there we go again. Okay, so that's weird. Okay, so see, it's back to 3K. So now let's look. I'm going to look at that VST. So there's nothing in there now, right? See, it's just tiny. This file's tiny again. So let me I'll put Audio Assault's Grind Machine 2 in here. Okay, turn on some stuff. Oh, there's some noise, huh? Okay, so I'm gonna save this. Okay, there's got to be a refresh, right? Oh, right here, refresh. There we go. Okay. So I just added that plugin. It basically the same thing. This is a tube screamer, an amplifier, and a speaker cabinet. So really didn't add much. So let's look at the RPP now. So go down here, look for the VST, and that's it. Just a couple lines. Still looks like hash. I don't know what it is, but look at this. It's just a tiny couple lines. The longer this thing gets, the longer your RPP gets, the stickier your project's going to get, the longer it's going to take to load, the longer it's going to take to save. And if you're doing auto saves, and this is actually what cued us in when the Slate plugins were doing this, when it goes to automatically save, just whatever that interval is, everything freezes up for a little bit, and you're just stuck. And so you really don't want that super long RPP. There's no reason for it. This thing's doing I don't know if exactly as much, because bias is complicated and does all kinds of stuff, whatever, but it's doing the same basic function as Bias Effects is, and it's taken up 5 lines of code. It's nothing. It just goes instantly. So let's try something else here. I have the demo for Overloud for THU, and so far this is a really cool plugin. I can't get the MIDI to work correctly in the VST mode, but so you can go back to demo, and I had a preset that was pretty much the same thing: tube screamer, amplifier, and cabinet. Oh, you know what? This one's got a harmonizer. So let's see how. Hey, where'd my cabinet go? Oh, I was trying different impulse loaders. So let me put a cabinet back on here. Just throw 412 in here, and in fact, I'm gonna remove this. So now it's apples to apples. Okay. So I'm gonna save this now. Let's take a look at what this thing added. And I'll refresh this. So this added 6K. So I mean, this is nowhere near the 260 something K that Bias Effects added, but it did add some. So let's take a look at the VST now. Quite a few more lines than the Audio Assault one, but again, not insane. I mean, that 200K was insane. I'm sorry, it's insane. Okay, so now let's try one more. Actually, let's try what we might normally be doing. So let's see. Let's add some individual components. So we add 808, and we add emissary, and I'm going to add NAD IR, Nader, whatever. I don't know. I like saying NAD, so whatever. We find an impulse. Impulse. Actually, I'll just find the same impulse. Okay, and so this is my normal chain. Let's say it's 808 ignite, and my impulse response. Okay, so let's save this and refresh. Okay, and we got 5K. Okay, so it's less than it's just 3 different plugins. They added less than the Overloud THU, but again, Overloud wasn't crazy bad. So let's look at what these VSTs are now. So here's the 808, added a couple lines. Here's Emissary, added a couple lines, and yes, the Emissary is free, but it's no slouch. It does quite a few different sounds just on its own. And here's the impulse loader. Okay, let me just make sure that hopefully this is going. Yeah, if anybody's watching, let me know if the audio's working or not. Sorry. Okay. What else was I looking at? Okay. So the next thing here that I want to do, I'm gonna add everything back in, but this is actually gonna kind of sketch out. So, you add bias effects again, and I mean, man, watch how long this sucker takes so long, man. Come on. And this is where, while it's loading, it's going to call home, and this is where it sticks you, and that's where it was crashing Dante. So Focusrite, if you're listening, please get that fixed. And I know it's not just you. There's other Dante companies, but I have the ultimate faith in you guys that you're going to be the first ones to fix it. So that's why I keep saying Focusrite. Okay, so there's my regular thing. We add the Overloud one, THU. And what was it? There, this one. Did I save it? No, I didn't save it, of course. Replace with remove categories. Okay. And you know what? How do you save this? Save. There we go. Okay. Okay, so that's that. And then what was the other one? Grind Machine. Grind Machine is the other one I have. I might have some others on here. Oh, I do. I have Amplitude. Let's put that on here. And I'm not sure how much hash Amplitude adds, but I think you got the point already that these things. Oh yeah, and Amplitude adds some latency too, which is kind of scary, but whatever. Anyway, so I'm gonna make this the same kind of thing. Scream. Change this to. Oh, it's one of these, right? I don't know which one's which. I mean, I don't know that it really matters much, but there we go. Okay, so that looks like it, right? And I don't think there's an impulse loader in this, but I'm just gonna put a cabinet and see what he got. Whatever. Okay. So, in my experience, especially during the bringing the studio to the stage thing, here's what really matters. We'll take a look at the CPU use that these things use in a second, but let me just What seems to really matter is the real-time CPU. If that gets into the 2 digits, there's a chance that it's going to glitch. Like when I'm doing these live streams and stuff, there's something about the webcam and the other stuff that really makes a lot of trouble. It makes us really prone to glitching. So that actually makes it easier to find when it's going to make trouble. And so this is the number you're looking at. If I see it go like 20 or so, and then I know it's probably going to click. If this RT longest block goes above your buffer size, you're done. So that's definitely in a gap and click. Usually, every once in a while it doesn't, and that's when it's really unnerving because it's like, why isn't this making trouble? It should be making trouble. Let me make sure I've got a noise source here. Okay. Actually, I'll just plug a guitar in. Hold on a second. Okay, so it's got something to process now. Okay. Okay, so let's look. So this is the combination of 3 different plugins. This should be the worst one, right? These are all free, and it's 3 different ones. RT, CPU. Actually, let's get the baseline. So without anything going on, let's just say it's go to high end. Let's say it's 2%. Okay. So I'm going to turn on all 3 of these. Give it something to process. Okay, so what is that? Maybe 10% we're getting out of this. We'll check. I'm going to copy this chain over in a little bit onto a real project with a pile of stuff going, so we can really see what's happening here. And let me. Okay, I'm gonna try and invite a celebrity into the stream here, and let's see if we can't get it. Pardon me for this slight typing delay. I don't type super well. Okay. Let me get my link. Sorry. Okay. So we like 10% with these 3 free ones. Okay, let's try bias. And I think a lot of these things matter whether or not you got the GUI showing. But check it out. Throwing bias on here, 21%. So that's kind of a pile. It's about double the 3 free plugins all stuck together. And I do get some clicking with bias if the buffers are decently low, at least with this X32 USB card. With the Dante, I'm not sure if I was or not. So anyway, that's bias. Okay, and here's the overloud THU. Really not bad. In fact, this is less than. Is this even right? Yeah, it's going. So this is less than. This is less than the 3 free ones were. This is actually not bad at all. And look at the longest block. Pretty short. If you put the harmonizer on, that'll go up a little bit. But look at that. What is this? This thing added like 3%. Is that right? Let me go back to bias. In fact, I'll get off of the bias GUI. So notice how much longer the RT longest block is on bias as well. Okay, so let's go on to grind machine 2. Grind Machine actually added more than the Overloud did, I think. Maybe about the same. Let's take a look. Okay, so you're seeing this. If I'm not showing the Overloud THU GUI, now I'm showing it. Yeah, see, it's not always apples to apples. These numbers will kind of bounce around. But it seems like these two are pretty efficient. Really low RT longest block. In fact, Grind Machine 1 is what our kids used to play through in real time when we were using Reaper as a PA system when our Random Weirdos band was running around. But anyway, it's like 5%. Really efficient. So here's Amplitude. Okay, you see how long it took to load? Just switching the GUI? That's weird. But anyway, let's turn it on and find out. So now Amplitude is getting up there. This is taking about as much as the three free ones were at the same time. And also, look how much the longest block time has gone up. Also, really, 7 samples, whatever. That doesn't sound like much, but any PDC, it makes some trouble especially when you're seeking, you're hitting play and stop. I mean, it's your real-time ergonomic use where this stuff really starts where you really feel it. Just hitting record, hitting stop, skipping around, moving the cursor, sometimes even moving the cursor clicks and stuff when you're using some of these plugins, especially when you see some PDC going on. And so I really don't want that. But that's not to say, I mean, Amplitude, really cool. It's just, while it's armed, it seems to make some trouble. But I am going to... So now we got an idea, right? We know, okay, Amplitude. I mean, we could write this down. Phil Zio, if you're out there, he likes making charts, so that'd actually be a cool thing. So let's just go through this again. So Amplitude, about 10 or 11% CPU, 1.5 to 1.8-ish RT longest block. Grind Machine 2, about 5% CPU. I think around the same longest block. Let me reset this so just be sure. No, see? Not much. Not much at all. Okay. Overloud, THU. Jeez. Overloud's just not using much at all. But I swear the sucker was clicking. But whatever. Half a millisecond longest block. Okay. Yeah, really, it's not using any CPU. This is weird. I swear it was doing more. Okay, here's bias. Kablam, we're getting 18, 19, 20% CPU. 1.5 milliseconds longest block. Let me reset this just in case that was a skip. No, it's pretty high. Okay, and now let's put all the 3 on, and I'm gonna reset this one more time. Not bad. Well, I don't know. Using kind of quite a lot of CPU. Let's see who that is, by the way. So I'm going to take off Nadir, Nadar, whatever. Not much. Emissary. So Emissary is a good chunk of it. And TSC, let's see. What happens if I switch to low quality here? Wow. Okay. So anyway, that's about our CPU use. I'm just going to copy this effects chain real quick. Save selected effects as chain. Testing amp mods. Okay, and so I'm going to go back to this. Okay, so here's a project kind of already set up. Hopefully there's actually some band playing in here, so we're probably going to hear some drums in a second. This would be a real world tracking project. You can see it already at idle. This thing is almost 17%, and so we're already moving into scary territory. Okay, in fact, here's an instance of bias I'm going to turn off. And look at the CPU just drop. So I actually have a lot of stuff. I got a bunch of drum compressors on, EQs. There's some stuff in the master channel. So there's a lot of stuff going on here. I'm going to save this. Oh, what did I just do? That wasn't what I wanted to do. Okay. So I want to remove all these effects, but here's the other thing. Sometimes, watch this. Watch Reaper just crash from here. I'm going to remove this. This is scary. Like, I don't even like deleting bias. It can croak from that. See that? Ugh, that's scary. Oh, I'm stuck. See, it's frozen. That's not cool. Okay. Yeah, might work. Might work. Come on. We have the computer back. Okay, there we go. Now that's scary stuff. Like, that's not happy, right? We don't want to see stuff like that. That needs to be looked at. Okay, so I'm gonna grab this effects chain. Okay, where did I put it? Testing amp mods. Okay, so this is going to pop up all those things we just had, and we're going to check in real time whether these things fry on us. And let me walk out for 1 second because I have to see if this guys are still playing drums. I'd kind of like them if they're playing drums and stuff. That'll hopefully add some load to the system. I definitely have them armed, so but let me just go check on them real quick. Sorry, it's going to take me a second here. Oh, well, hopefully they'll be back on in a second. I mean, with it armed, and there actually is, there's an air conditioner playing in there, so there should be some noise for this thing to process anyway. So let's just check on this. Okay. Okay, all good. Okay. So I'm going to give it a guitar. So really what I want to check for is for this to drop out. So let me input 25, I think. Yep, there we go. Okay, so hopefully OBS ASIO is working. This always likes to make trouble. If anybody's out there, let me know if the ASIO is working. I guess I could... you know, I'm just going to check the stream real quick. Okay, perfect. Okay, so that's working. Okay, so as far as I can tell, no dropouts. It's usually a long cord will do it for you. I'd be a lot more sure if the drums were playing. Let me make sure they're armed. Yeah, see, I got piles of drums armed. Let me see. Okay. Okay, so I'm gonna try these three guys, the three free guys, and I'm gonna look at the performance meter. Where'd you go? Performance meter. Okay. So see, I'm into the 20s, but if you really look at how much CPU I'm using, all three of those put together is like 1.5%. So it's really not that much. It's really the real-time CPU that matters. Yeah, I really like this emissary. Not sure all the different stuff it does. Okay, I don't think I'm getting any dropouts. So let me try bias. Now lots of times, oh, did I just hear one? There we go. Hear those dropouts? It's almost like it's a denormal bug. It seems to happen. Oh, there we go again. So see, I'm almost 30%. Total CPU is nothing, but real-time CPU is almost 30%, and I'm really close to the edge of that buffer. There we go. You hear those clicks, right? Okay. So here's THU. Bummed with THU, the lower cost versions. I was looking at THU Metal. It doesn't seem to have a cabinet impulse response thing, so you'd be using it with something like this. Which, oh, you know what? Doesn't really bring it up very much. So you know what? I'm gonna test out like this. So I'm gonna turn off. I'm gonna remove this cabinet. Crazy. It's really, yeah, I'm telling you, this THU really doesn't take much CPU. I don't know that you or I like the way the amp sounds so much on it. Maybe it's just different. I mean, everything's different. It sounds good. It's just I'm so used to that bias sound, but not getting any dropouts as far as I can tell. I wish these guys would get back to playing drums, but so let's look at Grind Machine. In fact, let's do some apples to apples here. So I'm gonna put on my impulses that I like. Ooh, you hear a little skip when I put the impulse in there? Yeah. So see, we've got a lot of headroom left on RT longest block, and real-time CPU isn't even near the 20% mark. What am I hearing? I don't think so. I don't know that I'm thrilled about the sound of this thing, but Alex says he has some tricks he can pull, so we'll see how that goes. Sorry. I'm not sure who's what here. Yeah, I have no idea what's what. Yeah, this is really, see, this is why this is so hard. On the other test, it seemed like this thing was eating a lot more CPU. But it's definitely not here. Oh, good. Here comes some drums. So let's see. This should add some trouble here. So hopefully that'll make everything skip if it's going to skip. Only thing I heard making glitches so far though was bias, sadly, and like I keep saying, I love bias. It's my favorite one. So okay, so let's check amplitude. So it's clicking already, right? You hear that? Let me take the GUI off. Sometimes that's all you need. All right, so now this, I could turn on my drum webcam. In fact, I wonder if it's not just the webcam itself that's causing these glitches, but I don't know if you keep hearing this, but this is definitely glitching with amplitude. There we go again. Hear it? So you know what? Let's do a. Oh man, it's gonna be a big fat mess. But okay. Oh, that's the other thing. So sometimes you'll hear it when I'm just moving this play cursor around. It's gonna glitch. But I'm gonna hit record and let's see if we can't get some glitches on that we can see. And of course, it's recording the drums too. But whatever. We'll take a look at that. So you heard those glitches right at the beginning of the recording. So let's see if they actually, wow, listen to all that. Let's see if they're actually in the audio though. So I'm gonna solo this. Take a look at it. So we definitely heard glitches at the beginning, but I don't know if they're actually on here. That might be. Let's hear it. Let's listen. Okay, so one thing we see already, there were some glitches we heard that didn't show up on the recording, but I think there is still one that showed up on the recording. I swear there's one there. But you know, but even if it doesn't show up on the recording, that saps confidence to hear those glitches, right? Chances are if I up the ASIO buffer, it'd be fine, but I shouldn't have to. I'm going to bypass these real quick and just take a listen. Oh, maybe not. Okay, so I mean we heard the glitches, but it doesn't seem like it they recorded them. But still, yeah, that's enough to sap the artist's confidence in you. They're hearing glitching and junk. Of course, now I'm not hearing any. I swear I keep hearing them. Let me check bias. Why is this thing gotta load up again? Okay, you're hearing all those clicks and pops, right? I hope you are. Okay, I'm gonna hit record on this. Yeah, listen to all that. Clicking and popping like mad. Okay. I mean, watch, it's not even this track. Watch, it's some drum track that's doing it, but I don't hear it when I don't have bias arm. So let's just see if that actually showed up in the recording. Well, you know, okay. So, I mean, that's a good thing that it's not showing up on the recording. That's actually awesome. But still, I don't want to hear it at all because I'm gonna think it's gonna show up on the recording. I mean, you guys heard it plain as day, right? When it was just clicking away there. I hope. You know, not me hallucinating or something. Okay, so let's just test that theory. Hopefully this OBS ASIO doesn't croak on us. We go to 256, and it probably won't. Hopefully, we'll find out. But I mean, look at this. It's reporting almost 20 milliseconds of latency, which honestly I could still play with, but I know it's going to make a lot of people pretty upset. Okay, now I'm not hearing any glitching. So hopefully, you know, maybe it's just because of the OBS and I'm streaming and stuff, and that's why it's glitching in real time. But still, why should this eat so much? Actually, no, you look at what's going on now. Now this is just bizarro. All of a sudden, bias isn't eating that much. It's like 5%. I've seen this thing go to like 20-something%. Yeah, look at that. What just happened? So I'm gonna switch. Actually, I'm gonna close this GUI real quick. Yeah, look at this. Look at the longest block time. So giving it a bigger buffer gave it a lot more time to work, and so it's using a whole lot less CPU. At least that's as far as I can figure out how this works. I'm gonna change this back to 128, and let's just see. Yeah, see how look at that. So the lower, wow, that's a lot, you know, and that's probably where this clicking and popping is coming from. Of course not, it's not going to click and pop when I'm trying to show it to you, but whatever. Okay, anyway, so that was hopefully this showed you some stuff. There's a comparison of let me shut this up. So really comparing the real-time CPU use, the actual overall CPU use, which turns out it's not much. I could probably turn all these things on at once and wouldn't make that much of a difference to the overall CPU use. But hopefully the takeaway, you see how much the RT longest block size between the different plugins, real-time CPU use, and at least in the case of bias effects, the amount of stuff that it writes to the project file, and just how much slower and clunkier the plugin acts because of that. And this is kind of a short one, but hopefully this is actually educational and if not at all entertaining. So sorry, this is one of the most boring ones of like watching paint dry, but I think it's important. I really wanted to show exactly what's going on here. So I will see you guys later. And if you like what you're seeing here, don't forget to, whatever they say, rate, comment, and subscribe. Or just subscribe. Thank you.